Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, the ice so nice they iced it twice. Twice Ice is a 6.5% IPA from Watermark Brewing Company in Stevensville, Michigan. Beer collaborations can be really fickle things. Sometimes you can get two great breweries that come together and the resulting beer just isn't that noteworthy, and sometimes they can be really perfect matches that complement each other. Now, Twice Ice from Watermark isn't a collaboration with a brewery, but a collaboration with 8 Degrees Plato, which is probably Detroit's most well-known bottle shop. 8 Degrees does a lot of work to bring small niche Michigan breweries to their store, so it's a place I like to try and visit as often as my wallet will allow. I can't walk out of there without spending too much money, unfortunately. Twice Ice is actually a reimagining of the collaboration between Watermark and 8 Degrees from last year that they named Brut Ice. I unfortunately didn't pick that one up last year, so I'll be reviewing this one on its own merits. So let's take a look at the label. We'll get this beer into a glass to see if it can be classified as one of those noteworthy collaborations or if it seems like it's more of a clash in styles. Fun fact, Plato is actually a scale that expresses the density of sucralose in water, and it's used in conjunction with specific gravity, which helps a brewer determine the ABV of a beer. So let's take a look at the label here. It's really simple. It says Watermark Brewing across the top and Twice Ice in this pink kind of reflective metallic font, and it has a Hawaiian shirt, a pink reflective Hawaiian shirt with these little yellow flowers and a lot of vines growing out of it. Now, Brut Ice was a similar label. The colors were a little bit different. And then on the side here, it says brewed and canned by Watermark Brewing Company, Stevensville, Michigan, India Pale Ale, 6.5% ABV, 1 pint. Now, I think this is actually a brut, like a New England brut kind of mashup, but it says brewed in collaboration with Detroit's premier craft beer retailer. Now, nowhere else on this label does it actually say which premier craft beer retailer it is, but if you know, I know that this is 8 Degrees Plato because that's where I picked it up. I haven't seen it anywhere else. And the thing that I think is really cool, really kind of subtle finish to this whole label is it's got like a wavy pattern on it. You don't see that on a lot of labels. They're usually just flat, like, you know, clear-cut, straight-lined labels, and it has the diving helmet, which is the trademark of Watermark Brewing. So I'm going to grab my IPA glass. We'll move it over here. There is no canned-on date, but I believe this was around the end of May that this was brewed. I'm sorry, when it was canned and packaged. So let's go ahead and crack this open. I'll get a nose out of the can like I usually do. Let's get a nose. Wow, it's actually very tropical kind of scents directly out of the can. I'm getting a little mango, a little bit of like a stone fruit kind of scent. I'm also getting a nice kind of dankness, a little bit of a funkiness. Let's go ahead and pour this. It's coming out very a little yellowish clear. I'm expecting to get a huge head out of this, so I'm pouring it a little cautiously, but I think I need to turn it up a little bit because I'm getting a little less head than I was expecting to get. And there we go. The head's starting to form there pretty well. And as you can see from the top, the head is actually, got a lot of loose bubbles. It's really dissipating really quickly. There's a little, looks like almost like a little bit of lacing across the top, but not a whole lot. And this is like, from the bottom, this is like a light yellow, and up to the top is getting a little bit more of that juiciness. Now, I read a little bit about this. I don't generally do that, but I was doing a little research, and it looks like this is kind of like a New England style Brut IPA, and Brut Ice obviously was a Brut IPA from last year. And that head, as you can see from the overhead and from the front, that head is like, it's gone. There's no head in there whatsoever. All right, so let's get a better nose here out of the glass. Yeah, getting a lot of this kind of mango, a little bit, like I said, a tropical kind of scent that I was getting out of the can. It's only amplified out of the glass directly, and that dankness, that funkiness has been like, it's been doubled, but that head is just gone. There's nothing left there. And holding it up to the light, it is super hazy. Even the bottom on these IPA, these Spiegelau IPA glasses, if I'm saying that correctly, even some of the New England styles that you get out of these, the bottom is a lot clearer. And this is like, that's super dense, super thick. I can barely see any kind of shadow at all through there. So I'm ready to dive right into this. It smells really good just out of the glass. So I'm going to try it. Cheers. got a bit of a funky kind of sweetness up front. And I'll just tell you just off the top of my head, because I've swallowed it there. This finish is like super, super dry. This is like super, like I'm getting a little bit of an aftertaste, but the wetness that was on my tongue is like whoosh, it is just like wiped away. So this is super dry. Getting a little bit more of kind of like a pungent sweetness up front. I'm almost getting this, I'm getting this flavor that I'm not really able to put my finger on. It's this, the initial kind of upfront is this real kind of fleshy, mango-y kind of flavor, but there's also something else in there that I'm not really able to tell what it is. It's like this, the dryness just takes away whatever flavor that is really quickly. So it's hard for me to really place my finger on what the taste is, because normally when you drink a New England or something kind of juicier, it's, you can kind of hold on to it because the aftertaste isn't super dry. So it's easier to kind of distinguish what that is. It's got a lot like a lot of fleshy kind of mango taste in there. A lot of this tropical kind of stone fruit taste in there as well. But then that dryness just whisks away any kind of, I'm getting a little bit of this like zesty peel, like a citrus peel, like an orange peel or something like that on the tail end, but then it just gets whisked away. There is a flavor on the aftertaste, but I just can't put my finger on what it is that's kind of hanging out in there. And there's this kind of citrus bitterness that kind of hangs out in the back end as well. If it was a higher ABV beer, I might even say like the ABV is contributing to this bitterness. This is a really unique kind of beer. It's because, well, not only because it's like a juicy brut, which I don't think I've seen too many juicy bruts, but also because it has all these different kind of flavors that are kind of rolling around in there. Like I said, I just can't put my finger on what the extra kind of fruity flavor is in there, but it also has this fleshy kind of mango taste that I can't say I've really tasted in other beers. Like you get mango in a lot of beers, but the kind of specific kind of mango taste in there is just, it's not something that I can say that I've had in a lot of other beers. As I drink it a little bit quicker, it's a little bit easier to everything kind of melts together a lot more, which is usually the case when you drink a beer like faster. You all those kind of flavors just meld together, and it's a really nice kind of swig when you take a quick drink of it. But when you sit and analyze it, there's just so many kind of like flavors that are bouncing off of each other that I can't really pick it up. But it has this funkiness to it. You get the dankness on the taste as well. It almost has like this. There's a citrus kind of bitterness, hoppy bitterness on the tail, but there's also this kind of bitter, piney bitterness on the beginning as well. And you get a lot more when you take a quick drink than when you take a slow drink. But yeah, this is the most juicy brut that I think I've had so far. Like I've had quite a few bruts, and they almost always are more on the brut end. Like they're more on the champagne-y, dry, super dry end, and they aren't generally juicy. Like even the Old Nation Brut IPA that they put out in their Woodshed series, it's supposed to be like an M43 analog, but the brut version of it, and I get more of a New England style taste out of this, and the finish, it's not super dry. Like as I drink it more, I'm getting a little bit more of the dryness isn't as pronounced as it was on that first taste, on that first swallow, but it's definitely the most New England style brut IPA that I've had, and it's really intriguing. Like I don't know if this is something that I would want to pick up a 4-pack and drink of, but it's definitely one that I would drink, just to kind of get the differences between the New England style, the brut style. This marries those two together really well. It has a super dry finish. It has like this bitterness, this kind of piney and really strong citrus bitterness on the tail end. As I talk about it more, it kind of just sits in my mouth, and that's what I'm getting. Again, I don't know if I'd want to drink a 4-pack of this, but I think it's really intriguing if you're into New England's and you're into Bruts and you kind of want to get a beer that's a really good marriage of the two. I think the bitterness that it has is a little bit more overpowering than most New England styles I'd get, or that zesty kind of citrus taste on the tail end is a little bit more than I'd like to get out of a New England style. But with a Brut style, it's kind of a welcome change because a lot of them are just kind of really dry and you don't get much else out of it. So it's a good marriage of the two, and I think it's a really good kind of curiosity kind of beer, but I don't know if it's something that I'd want to drink a full 4-pack of, but one or two here and there. 6.5% isn't super crazy. That's a pretty tame New England style and a pretty tame Brut, but yeah, it's a good marriage of the two. So if you're really curious, I think that this is available on the west side of the state a little bit, and I think on the east side, it's only available at 8 Degrees Plato. Again, it's a collaboration between the two. So I think at Watermark's Brewery, they probably, you might be able to find it there. And I think at 8 Degrees, they might still have it. And it's just a really kind of odd combination of the two styles, but it's kind of a welcome change. But for me personally, I just don't think I'd be able to kind of go through a 4-pack, but it has this lightness to it that most New Englands don't have. They kind of sit heavy in your stomach. You can't really drink more than one or two at a time anyways, some people. But yeah, this is a really good marriage of the two. So if you're really curious to see what a New England style would be like with a Brut finish, this is the beer for you to try. Again, for me, I don't know if I'd be able to go through all 4, but I think 1 can or 2 cans is definitely the way to go on this one. I know that's a whole lot of information, more than I usually say on beer, but this is a really interesting one. All right, friends, that has been Twice Ice from Watermark Brewing and 8 Degrees Plato. If you find yourself in either of these establishments, let them know you saw their beer right here. So if you had Twice Ice or maybe even Brut Ice, what are some of your favorite beers from Watermark? Or do you have a favorite bottle shop near you? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you like Michigan beer, or just beer in general, you might want to subscribe and click that bell because I'm here talking about beer. Again, mostly Michigan beer, but I'm going to try and start mixing it up if I can find some close states that I like. I do it twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's free for viewers just like you, and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribed. Also, I want to start incorporating your questions into these episodes, so leave any questions about beer, anything, the Draft Therapy channel, anything, at the Draft Therapy hotline at 224-DRAFT-20. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they are, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.